want to tell you something crazy. This is just so wild, when the medical community sometimes doesn't know anything, when the medical community sometimes doesn't understand something, and we've got patients out here trying to teach doctors about something, and they're so resistant. They're resistant to learning something from a patient, and they're resistant from learning something new. So addiction, physical dependency is not addiction. Physical dependency with a prescribed drug is not addiction. Almost all doctors do not understand this, and they think everything is addiction. They think physical dependency is not addiction. I'll give you an example. I'm trying to walk on the road here. Hang on. Okay, I'll give you an example. I was trying to wean off of two prescribed medications that I only took exactly as prescribed, right? Exactly as my doctors prescribed them. I never ever used more, and I never abused them. So there comes a day I decide I want to get off of them, and I don't even understand really what these drugs do to a person. I don't really understand. At the time, I didn't know anything. I didn't understand anything. And I'm instructed, the doctor tells me how to wean off of this first one. And I go into absolute crisis. I drop the dose to 50% off. Within 24 to 48 hours, I'm in absolute crisis. Physical, medical crisis. And I have no idea what's going on. And within 2 days, I'm in the ER, in the emergency room, and I'm in crisis. And so doctors, I didn't know what was happening. And I know I'm not an addict. I know I've never abused these drugs. Doctors will think that you're an addict, that you're coming into the ER drug seeking, and then, the traffic's too loud over there. Sorry, I'm gonna change my route here. So, what the difference between physical dependency and addiction is that when somebody is physically dependent and wanting off of a drug, they don't want more drugs. They're not drug seeking. They don't crave a drug. I was in acute withdrawal, in medical crisis, fighting for my life. And never did I crave having this drug. I had lots of the drug at home. God, it's such a simple simple concept, but why is it so hard to explain this simple concept, and why can't doctors understand this concept? So I'm in acute withdrawal from both of these medications, not at the same time. I did one and then the other. And like, my blood pressure is through the roof. My autonomic nervous system is in crisis. I'm stopping breathing on and off during the day. When I'm awake, when I'm sitting in a chair, my blood pressure is through the roof. My heart rate is dangerously low. And I'm talking with medical equipment, not me sitting at home trying to measure myself with drugstore stuff. My oxygen is dangerously low. Again, with medical equipment, not my own equipment at home. And I'm in absolute medical crisis. And, more than half of these medical people are giving you the side eye, or they think you're an addict, or they think you're trying to get drugs out of them, when you have all the drugs you want at home, but you don't want them. You're not looking for drugs. They can't conceive that you're in medical crisis, that you're in acute withdrawal, and you don't want more drugs. So that's the difference. There's no drug-seeking behavior. There's no manipulation. There's no trying to get drugs out of your friends. There's no, you're not wanting more. You're genuinely trying to get off this drug. And your body, all the systems in your body have become dependent on having a dose of this drug every day. And literally all the systems in your body are in medical crisis because they're not getting the drug anymore. And this can go on this isn't like months, days or weeks. This is months or years. People go into protracted withdrawal. So let me tell you this. You know what? You have no idea if, imagine the horror of this. Your doctor's starting you on a medication today, and in a few years you want to come off, and you have no idea whether you're going to be acutely physically dependent on it. You have no idea if you're going to go into dangerous, terrifying withdrawal, and you have no idea whether your doctor understands physical dependency, or if they think that you're an addict and having a mental breakdown, or trying to manipulate them for drugs. Let's say you're saying to your doctor, you're in acute withdrawal. You think you're in acute withdrawal, and they're looking at you, and they're thinking that you've used up all your medication, and you're trying to get more out of them. You're trying to manipulate them for medication because you've misused the stuff that you have at home. So I want to tell you, it's really crazy. The cognitive dissonance of this situation is just nuts. The world is just nuts. So I'm sitting on a bench talking to this guy, right? And a stranger. And, I can be easy to talk to, and, I can talk to strangers like that, have random conversations with people out there in the world. And so this is a case like that. I'm talking to this guy, and I don't know him, but we're talking about this. We get into this conversation about medications and addiction and alcoholism, and I'm explaining to him, because the world is in the dark about this whole physical addiction thing, and it is not. No, physical dependency on a medication versus addiction, and they are not the same thing. The whole world is in the dark about this. So him and I are having this interesting conversation, and he's his interest is piqued. He's never ever heard about this before, and he thinks it's just wild what I'm telling him, and he's really interested. And up walks this doctor towards us, and he knows her. I know who she is. She's an addict, and she's walking towards us, and she stops to talk, and he tells her, yeah, well, this woman here sitting next to me is telling me this about physical dependency and how it's not addiction. And she, in all her wisdom, and she's looking pretty cranky that day, She says, yeah, no, it's the same thing. It's addiction. And instantly this guy flips and he thinks that, here's what he thinks, that I don't know what I'm talking about. He thinks this is addiction. And the world has been conditioned to think that, the opinion of a doctor trumps the opinion of anybody else out here, and that doctors always know what they're talking about. And they don't. There's times that they don't know what's going on. And here's the thing. An addict, when you try to explain physical dependency to an addict, oh, it's really slippery here. Shucks. When you try to explain physical dependency to an addict, they think that you're in denial, that you're lying and manipulating like they lied and manipulated for years within their active addiction. Or they think you're in complete denial and you don't understand yet that you're an addict. So we've got loads of people out here on social media and in real life trying to teach people that physical dependency is not addiction. We're trying to teach doctors that physical dependency is not addiction. And it's wild. Because when I was in acute withdrawal from both these drugs, I was fighting for my life, and not one doctor in this city or country that I found knew how to help me. And in fact, I was so sleep deprived during those withdrawals because of serious sleep issues that we even discussed a drug-induced coma for a while. But that was shot down because the mind and body would not perceive a drug-induced coma to be restful or restorative. It would be like a gross, disgusting, drug-induced sleep and like a huge, ugly hangover, right? That's what they actually did with Jordan Peterson. But Jordan Peterson wasn't having, serious sleep issues and breathing issues and apnea and all that. But just one more thing I wanted to say. Anyways, it's wild that we've got uneducated people out here really trying to educate people, including doctors, so that you're protected when it happens to you, right? How much time do I have here? Could tell you another wild story. So listen to the irony of this. Now I'll make another quick video because it might go over. I can only make 15-minute videos. I'll make another quick video.